All right, so it just kicked up live, and let me go to my page and see. It just got posted up there. I was kind of dealing with a friend in the issue. She's getting ding-a-ling pictures from people in the church, which is pretty funny to me, but I don't know.
Yeah, the dick pic thing is just out of control. It really is.
It is something else. So what are you going to do? Not, but they got I call them cookie clips. It's just not dick pics. They got cookie clips too. So they send those all the time.
Oh my God, that's terrible.
We don't want to talk about that. That's not what the conversation. We should already be live. But no, the topic the topic is food and health, not dinglings and cookie pics. That's a bad idea. Unsolicited, that's a bad idea. Don't do that. I think that's illegal in Texas, if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah, it should be. It's harassment. So
yeah. Well, it was kind of funny. She sent me a picture. We're gonna let everybody come. It's already 10 people here, but no, we're gonna talk about food. It was weird. Just the guy's profile was something like "love God and trust God" or something, and she got the ding-a-ling pic from. So I was like, "Hey, this is normal. Just accept the human beings is what the monkeys do." I remember I had a pastor who had like 3 or 4 kids by the choir. Oh, people here. There's a whole bunch of them now.
21. That was quick.
Yeah, that's not the top. Well, you're following and my following, which I hate that word. That's pretty stupid. I don't want anybody.
Well, it is. I mean, it's people that are at least paying attention. So, you know. And I did give them a heads up, though. So I gave them a heads up.
Oh, did you? Okay, I don't give anybody heads up. I'm just, whenever my laptop is working, but I'm usually on at the same time.
Yeah, exactly. That's why.
I'm cheating. That's cheating. Like I'm on a schedule, but that's that slave in me. That's that corporate America slave. I'm used to doing things on the clock. You know, you had to be in the field at a certain time with your cotton bag, get down to picking. So I can't get out of that. I'm still kind of locked into that certain time of day.
I'm only like this because I'm on drag queen time, so everything starts 2 hours after I say. So
I love that. That's good though, because it's always exciting. My problem with you is you always go live when I'm driving. And if I ever die, I just want to let everybody know it's Ty's fault. It's all your fault. I'm usually driving home just around the time you hit the button. It's like, as soon as I get in the car, I hear bing, 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 bing. I'm like, oh, shoot, I bet you Ty is live. And I look and he's live. Oh, here we go. Now, how the hell am I drive a motor vehicle and like comment at the same time? Don't anybody do that. That's stupid.
I love it.
So we're going to talk about food and health. I'm not even sure where to start. There's just so much to it.
Yeah, I don't even know. I mean, I know we call out the fake system of healthcare, which is usually the good start of it because we think that's health, and then we're surprised when it doesn't work for us, and we're like, well, it was never really designed to work for us, so I don't know why we're surprised about that. It seems weird. So,
and shouldn't be. You don't go to the Joker because you don't want jokes, right? You don't go to Batman because you don't want some help. You don't go to the water. You don't go to the ocean if you don't feel like getting in the water. It's just like the same people who cause the health problems are the people behind the healthcare system. And people don't seem to realize that they're literally poisoning us in every way possible. They get money from the industries that cause all these modern plagues, you know, through their drugs, through the chemicals, through all the ways they're poisoning us, pesticides. And then those people who take the bribes to help those companies get around the laws and write laws for them, they're not going to help you with your health care. You know, these companies, they create disease to not cure the disease, to get you to live with the disease. And the politicians are in that cabal, like they're in that guild.
Yeah, it's what is it they call it? Problem, reaction, solution, where they present the problem and then present fake reasons to fix that problem. It's the only reason they have a job. They wouldn't have a job without it. So that's the only reason. It totally makes sense. I mean, what is it? The secret covenant where they're like, we will poison them, and then they'll come to us, and then we'll give them poison to fix their poison, and that's how they work. So
makes sense. Makes sense. That's why I don't believe in the system anymore. So, I mean, but when you think about health, or when I think about health, I say it this way, because the biggest problem I have is there's always so many extreme groups in every damn thing. Like, there's never ever. Let's just see what makes some common sense. So everybody knows what healthy is, right? Healthy is what I say it is, right? If it works for me, it has to work for you. And what you do is stupid. And then all of that's dumb. There's 7 billion different human beings on this planet. that have 7 billion different immune systems, 7 billion different diets, 7 different types of exercise or sedentary lifestyles. So no one thing works for everybody, and no one thing I think is poison to everybody. And I think if people can kind of start to agree to that, then you can start to have a conversation around what do you do and how is it working for you? And then maybe I can try it for me, as opposed to like the extremities of, you have to be a pescatarian, you have to be a carnivore, you got to be an omnivore, you got to be a vegan, you got to be a vegetarian. They're like ignorant extreme groups. I think people who are a little ignorant of the human body and physiology. There's bad as the pharmaceutical industry thinking they know everything.
Oh yeah, and also part of it is your location. A lot of people give shit to people that are eating meat. And I'm like, you might want to tell the indigenous people that. So, because I mean, people in Somalia and Siberia are not going to be eating plants. There are no plants there. They don't have plants. They have to eat what's available. That's what's there, you know. So it's very rare that you have these really extreme things there. So
you came up with a new privilege. That's vegetarian privilege. That's vegan privilege. Like you got you live in a nation where you have lots of organic food of that type, and you're like judging other people, or you're like shaming other people who live in like Africa and they got to live on what's that the Maasai tribe that lives on blood and bread or something like that? Or
insects. It depends on where in Africa. Because Africa we also have a misconception about Africa being like completely desolate. It's not. It's Congo has the most resources of anywhere. So it just depends on where you're located. But I specifically say like winter places like Siberia and Russia. There's a reason why they don't eat a lot of plants. They can't. It's just doesn't grow there. It just doesn't.
Right. Hello. Right. Like hello. Like you have to do the best you can. And plus, I mean, it comes down to two. And you brought something else to mind. It's not even just what really grows there, but also it's what's there. It's like New York City. The studies into the dust in the high rises are showing that a lot of their dust isn't human skin. Like everywhere you go, the majority of places, the majority of dust in the house is human skin, which is disgusting. But in New York, a large portion of it is brake dust. Right. So if you're breathing in brake dust, your immune system needs a little extra help, and was it cytotoxic T cells that break down that stuff before it causes you lung disease and stuff. So what you eat, you're right. It in so many ways, it's related to where you live. There's just billions of different bits and pieces to that formula. I think when I think of healthy, I think of two things. One, eat less things that cause you problems. And by eat, I mean in your mouth, your skin, your makeup, because your skin it's just an organ, right? It absorbs
the biggest
everything you put on.
It's the largest organ on your body. Yeah.
On your body, right. Put in less things that cause your body problems. Usually they're chemicals, they're things that are traded on Wall Street. Straight on Wall Street, don't put it on your body, in your ears, in your mouth. And two, eat more things that boost your immune system. Your immune system is like the key to life. And that's something we mentioned, like Dr. Sebi figured out. Big time.
That's why it's amazing to me. People like they trust consensus, but then once their consensus is challenged by another scientist, then that scientist doesn't matter now. I'm like, is that interesting? I think it's very interesting. You proved it in court. It wasn't like he just gave like a paper or something. Like, he literally demonstrated it in court documents that he could cure any disease with food. He just like over and over and over again, repeatedly. And they were like, well, he has to die. So
exactly. Well, and hopefully everybody knows his story. I mean, it wasn't like a light case. It was serious because he went to a local court, a civil court, then he went to the Supreme Court. And Dr. Sebi was the man who proved he could do what billions in pharmaceutical industries and tens of thousands of scientists couldn't do. He cured AIDS. He cured sickle cell anemia. He cured
diabetes,
cancer,
leukemia, all of it. Yeah.
He took the ad out in the New York newspaper, and what they did is they went after him, right? And so as the story goes, they went after him, and they say, okay, he's practicing medicine without a license, and so they arrested him. And the first judge he went to somehow realized that what he was doing was legitimate. I forgot all the details. People, you can look it up. But basically, he said, you know what? I'm going to do you a favor, and I'm going to send this to the Supreme Court. Because like they could have apparently handled it on, I guess, the civil court or the local level, whatever court that was. But the first judge handed it to the Supreme Court of the state of New York, which meant that it would get a lot of press. And so he said, and they got a big panel of doctors to kind of go through, what he was doing. And he's like, I'm not practicing medicine. I'm giving people herbs. I'm helping people's body heal themselves. I'm not healing people. And
exactly.
Right. And then the judge said, okay, so you need to bring one person for every condition you say that you cured, their medical records when they had the disease and when they were cured. If you can do that, I'll let you go. 74 people, I think it was 74 people with all those conditions showed up and proved beyond a shadow of a doubt. Not only did they have the disease prior, they were cured afterwards. So of course he had to die. It was a done deal at that point.
Yeah, the moment, and that's why it's weird that people don't study what the origin of their medical system is, because it's not. It's, as you said, as you guys know, it's Rockefeller funded, but it's the altruistic versus homeopathic systems, and they're trying to specifically control it that way. That's why it is. It's a for-profit industry. So the fact that people think they're going to get free healthcare is ridiculous. You have a for-profit industry that's run by the. It just doesn't make any sense. It just doesn't. They don't even let, like, because Brad, my spouse, works in healthcare. He has for 20 years. They don't even take care of their own nurses. Why are they going to take care of you? That doesn't make any sense. It's just irrational. It's an irrational expectation. So. It
is. But people, they go for hope. I think it's fear that what does it. People, they trust the doctors. If you have like a lab coat, and I think it's an illusion that your doctors are still your healers. They're not. And I don't shame doctors. Like I tell everybody, doctors are stupid, dumb as a bag of bricks when it comes to nutrition, health, and all of that. You know that because they're on the same drugs that they sell, right? They get high on their own supply. But you get in a car accident, damn it, you're gonna love your doctor. you have some sort of accident. I love doctors, but I'm not going to use a chemical doctor, for what they're not good at, right? And most doctors nowadays, they go to medical school to become chemical doctors. They become chemical sales reps because the pharmaceutical industry, they own the AMA, and they own all the medical schools, right? They fund them, and so they teach drugs, they teach chemicals, they don't teach health.
Yes, and that's true with every institution. Every institution is funded the same way. As Chomsky used to say all the time, academics are the most indoctrinated people. So that's the problem. That's the issue.
Hardcore. And they come out of medical school and they get the Benz, they get the house, they get the wife, they get the husband, they get the kids. And now you have a lifestyle that's attached to lies. So once you start to figure out that this really isn't what's supposed to be, and I worked in the pharmaceutical industry for a little while, and I talked to some of the scientists behind the scenes. I won't tell them I won't say everything that they've told me, but no, most people who make this stuff that I've ever ran into, they don't believe in it. They don't actually take it. It's an industry of people who have no idea. And this is where food comes in. You have an industry that thrives on people who have no idea how their body works. They have no idea what to put in their body. And because of that, they get sick. And when everyone goes to their doctor, which I don't blame the doctors, I don't blame the pharmaceutical industry, because people go to the doctor and they don't say, Doc, give me something that in a week or a month will make me feel better. They go right in there and say, look, I got tennis tomorrow. I got to work tomorrow. I got kids recital. Give me something that heals me. Give me something that hides the symptoms and makes me feel better right now. So anytime you have a demand, you're gonna have a supply, period. And that's why there's no evil in the system. It's just people don't seem to realize that food is what is, that is your medicine. That is the driver for your immune system, and it's what keeps you alive.
Isn't that what that's what you keep saying, that there is no such thing as a weed? Weed is just undesired plants, and therefore we don't know anything about plants. And that's why we think everything is like, oh, we can't eat any of those things. Like, actually, you're supposed to be eating all those things, dandelions and all that. You're supposed to be eating them. That's why they don't want us to. That's specifically why they don't want us to know that stuff, is because they know that that's what actually does it. Everything that grows in your yard is what you're supposed to be eating. That's the whole problem.
Right. So, it's what we evolved to eat. Now, I don't believe in evolution from a Darwinism perspective, but he was right. Like you mentioned in your other video, in terms of adaptation, we adapt. And so living as marsupials and mammals, where our lungs, heart, immune system, everything came from, we were small marsupials. We didn't eat apples high up on the tree, right? We ate mostly things that were low on the ground. And so the dandelions, the cannabis, the hemp, all the things that grow, on the ground. And so these things are food. They're not medicine. There's no such thing as a medicinal plant. Like, I like how they say it, but it's not real. It's not true. Our bodies are problem-solving machines. And how do they solve the problems? The 50 trillion cells in the human body, half are human, half aren't. It's based on the compounds they have most access to. What do they have most access to? Like you said, weeds, dandelion, greens, leafy greens, plantains. the things that grew in the ground. Now we got bigger. We could reach the apples. We could reach the banana. Some would fall from the tree. And so those things have become things that we've evolved or we've adapted to solve problems with as well. But the healthiest things are those salads, those deep, leafy, green, raw, fresh salads, because that's how we ate them for millions of years while our bodies developed.
And that also explains why they specifically have to control hemp and CBD oil, because they know that will get rid of a lot of things. They know it will. They know specifically. That's why it's listed as worse than heroin, because they know it will cure a lot. It cures seizures. It calms down autism spectrums. It does a lot of stuff. They have to control that. They have to, and that's why if they buy that and then make the natural stuff illegal, then they can give you a synthetic version that they'll call healthy. And that's the interesting part about that. They use our idea of consensus and authority to kind of utilize it against us in that way. That's how they got us to start smoking cigarettes in the first place. Remember, doctors used to have 10-minute long commercials about cigarettes? Yeah. That's all part of it. They use science that way.
I mean, you're even getting back to the Eddie Bernays stuff, right? And propaganda and how they got women smoking, right? It wasn't just men. They got women smoking because they abuse us and they use our needs to turn us into addicts and captive customers. Right. And I'm glad you mentioned the cannabis, because cannabis is huge. Right. So in terms of, the systems in the human body that need cannabis are ridiculous. Right. From your heart, your liver, your lungs, your brain. You have an endocannabinoid. We've been eating this damn plant for so long. We have an endocannabinoid system. Literally, it just wasn't your cells thriving on it. Your body developed an endocannabinoid system because we ate that more than damn bananas. We ate it more than anything, which meant that they had to get it out of your diet. And a good example for that would be look at the average American, how sick they are. Look at the average person in the developed world. Do you really think we survived in a time where wolves were hunting us? Short-faced bears were devouring us. We had to grow food. We had to hunt. We had to grow berries. We had to go find. Do you think we had colds and viruses and cancers and coughing and sneezing once a month and stomach flus? Of course we didn't. We didn't have any of that. We were eating natural things back then. But there's no way. Like, you can get sick today and I don't want to go to work today. Yeah, you can do that. You couldn't do it back then. You died if you didn't go to work that day.
Right. That's exactly it. It's exactly the problem. We don't realize how apparently we're very naive of how that would have worked in the old day. We're too accustomed to the modernism now, so we're not used to thinking how that would have worked back then. Like how the systems that we have today worked back then. They just wouldn't work. There's no way that would happen. So.
Hey, Unga Bunga, yeah, man, I ain't coming in today. Bunga Bunga, Unga, yeah, okay. You're not going into work. You went to work every day or you died, and that was the bottom line. So people who had ailments, and this is the shame, like the few people who had genetic, and that's another lie. This whole, you got disposed, you have the genetic prerequisite and you'll end up with cancer or whatever. And they've proven that time and time again. In fact, I just posted a video on that. If y'all don't follow, nutritionfacts.org, you don't follow Dr. Greger, you need to. His videos will blow you away. They're not like mine. They're not an hour worth of trying to figure things out. He's straight to the point. 5 minutes. Here's the research. You're stupid. Don't do this. This is what happened. Boom, done. And he kind of showed that, you look at Africans in Africa, they barely get Alzheimer's. You look at the Japanese in Japan, they barely get Alzheimer's. But when they come to America, the magic formula happens. And they all start getting Alzheimer's at ridiculous rates beyond what's in their own country. So there is a genetic conversation, but the reality is these are environmental oligarchy caused conditions, and they're based in the American diet, which is the death diet.
Exactly, which is why in Alzheimer's, is linked to aluminum. That's the whole problem. They put aluminum in everything. And I want people to start, I'll post the links to my thing. Study medieval feasts, because that's quite fascinating. If you study the medieval feasts, you'll see how they made everything. Everything was like exactly you said. It was all plant-based. It was all, even the meat was great. The meat was fresher. Everything was fresher because it was all right there. You were all doing it at that moment. Like you would pick out the animal that killed in front of you and then give it it was that fresh. And that's how all of that started culminate. And there were people because of that were actually immune to the plague. Study the big stink in England. There were people that were naturally immune to the plague, immune to it. regardless of how many people were dying around them. That's how your body, how strong your body can be against the fucking plague. Like, it's incredible. It's absolutely incredible.
And it's interesting too, and this is why I don't do extremities, right? Because I mean, if you really think about it, you know, who likes the smell of rotting meat? Nobody, right? Rotting meat makes you vomit, right? Rotting meat will kill you. Fresh meat, not so much, right? So we were going to eat meat, you know, evolving. We would eat it fresh from the kills, like Native Americans eat the heart, right? Once they first kill it, right? So a lot of the meat you eat, if it's fresh, it doesn't kill you. If it's not sick and raised on a abusive farm, it doesn't kill you. You know, they keep antibiotics just to keep these animals that are half dead alive, right?
Yeah.
But if you're eating fresh organic, like some of the healthiest people are the hunters, right? And they eat their kills fresh. Then I'm not encouraging people to go kill animals. I'm not doing that. I don't do hypocrisy, right? I don't do hypocrisy. Animals are alive. So is everything on my lettuce. They're all alive, right? The tardigrades. I don't, you know, to be honest with you, like every time I eat some salad, I'm murdering something. I'm murdering a whole bunch of tardigrades, microbes. And so we got to stop. We got to stop with the arrogance and the extremities, right? If what you eat makes you healthy, if you're not getting sick, then that's what you need to keep eating. And as you get older, that changes. As your environment changes, that changes. As your immune system changes, that changes. And you keep moving forward. But like telling people, oh, well, don't eat that because it's going to make you sick. You can kill people. You literally can kill people by getting them to jump to an extreme diet. The human body does not want to change quickly. It does not want to change overnight. If you want to go from being a meat eater to vegetarian, meat to vegan, vegan to meat, whatever you want to do, but you need to think about going slow because your body has to adapt and adjust. And the enzyme in your stomach, they have to adapt and adjust to your changing diet.
The gut is where everything. And there's people forget it's an ecosystem. So it means we're organisms, we're bioorganisms. So we eat things eat us. There's still animals on our face right now that are eating our pores. Literally. Microorganisms. Like everything that's we're not gonna get out of that. We're not gonna get out of it. So I don't know why people are trying to like fight that idea. It's very bizarre. Very bizarre.
Well, we are an ecosystem. We are a literal ecosystem and we live in ecosystems. Everything has to be in balance. You know? And so if it's not working out for you, if you're getting colds, you're getting flus, you're getting viruses, that's your immune system saying, hey, that's like your check engine light coming on, right? Well, it's not a check engine light. That's like the warning you get initially, like something's not going right. We're having troubles. You know, usually if someone's around you coughing, your body should fight it off within a day, a few hours or whatever, but it's lasting a week. That's like a hint that something isn't right. You need to shift your diet in some way. Eat less donuts, eat more, drink more smoothies. Like the thing that I love the most, and I happen to have this, not for this show, but because I needed it, because yesterday I drank some day old coffee. It was horrible. And it had old rotten milk in it, whatever. But the point is that when you make a smoothie, this saved my life. This has saved my life 10 times over because I don't like vegetables, man. I'm not a vegetable person. I grew up, I hated it. I ate all meat, you know, and the only way I can eat tons and tons of vegetables is one, if they're fresh. But in Pennsylvania, of course, I'm not growing that year round. So if they're coming from the grocery store and they're not fresh, I don't like them, I can put them in a blender. I can throw some bananas in there, some bananas, avocado, and green lettuces, you know, different lettuces, or I think this is actually kale. But I can throw that in there and I can put anything. I can put cauliflower, peas. I once did an okra smoothie. I did raw okra damn smoothie. Now, mind you, yes, I wanted to vomit later and throw all of that nasty crap up. However, I was able to keep it down because I mixed it around with a lot of good stuff.
Yeah. And you know, and as you're saying, it's all body chemistry because like I never get sick, but everybody knows I drink and smoke every day. So I know people, but that's even in the back of the day. I know, remember all the 50s boomers smoked until they were 90, still smoking every day. But then again, this is mass-produced corporate tobacco. Regular tobacco won't kill you the way this tobacco will, because it's not tobacco; it's gunpowder and chemicals. So I mean, but regular tobacco, Indians could smoke for hours and hours and hours and be fine. There'd be nothing wrong with their lungs. It just depends on what you're consuming. It really does just depend on what you're consuming.
Well, it's a plant. It's a plant, but
Yeah.
the problem is when you get humans to make it, it takes too long. It's not as profitable. So if you can make a big factory, use a bunch of chemicals, and you can automate it easier. And so this is really what happens with everything is they end up automating it. This is how you get an industry that abuses animals is that, you don't want humans taking care of them. It takes too long. You want as many robots and machines to process everything as fast as possible.
Yes.
So whether it's the meat industries, the tobacco industry, whatever, if people will buy it, they're going to make it. But the good example is that, you look at all the people who came before us who lived to be 110, 102, 90 something, danced, smoked, drank, just lived crazy lives. And they were absolutely fine. They ate all the meat, ate bacon every morning.
Much worse diet. Yeah.
Right. We don't raise healthy animals anymore, and we don't grow healthy vegetables,
Distribution and allocation. That's what it's, distribution allocation. And then if anybody's read, if they have a chance, because I know it's like 9 hours long, it's hard. It was hard for me to get through it. But Adam Smith's Wealth of Nations, he goes through the entire reason behind distribution, industry, compartmentalization of different specialties, why that happened, how that actually works with capitalism, all of that. And that sort of kept us alienated from each other in that way, because if everyone has a specialty and they focus only on that specialty, then you don't know about what else works with that. You know what I mean? Right. So compartmentalized we've been, and then they're like, oh, that's how they're able to keep those things separate, and then therefore control us with those different industries. So that's exactly how we do that.
Right. And Brother Jim is on it right there. The bottom line, processed equals bad. Anything that's not natural is bad. And the further you get away from its natural development, its natural growth, its natural genetics with GMO, the further you get away from that, the more dangerous it's going to be for your body. Because your body, it's just a machine. It just wants to look at things, it recognizes, break them down, and heal your body with it and do things it's supposed to do. But if it looks at GMO and it's looking at the DNA and a genetically modified, I don't know, apple or something, it doesn't know what the hell that is. Half the time it does, maybe half the time it doesn't. Maybe it creates a cancer cell, maybe it doesn't. It has no idea what it is. And so you want to avoid things your body did not eat for the millions of years we've been here. And eat and eat more of the things that it did recognize. That's it. And the more you do that, the healthier you'll become. But then there's also the placebo and nocebo effect. That's the scary part.
It is. But your body always tells you. Your body always, and that's what I don't think people realize. Your body always tells you. Like your urine will tell you, your eye color, saliva, all of that gives you indications of whether or not you're healthy. It will tell you. Your body will tell you. It gives you warnings. So we can't pretend like it doesn't warn us. Our gut health tells us every single time. You're like, oh, you're not supposed to eat that. Don't eat that. It's not helping. So it's just the study of our own body, which we don't do. We're not trained to do that. We're trained to give that to somebody else. So,
it's worse than that, right? We don't just say, "Oh, I'm not feeling good." We go to CVS and Walgreens and get Pepto-Bismol so we can eat more of the crap that we shouldn't be eating. Like our body is literally saying, "Dummy, stop eating this. I'm feeling sick, indigestion. I'm farting, got the bumps. Don't eat that crap." And here we are, like, "Oh, I'm just gonna," because they have a pill now. I forgot what it's called. They got a pill. Somebody can post it, but you take the pill before you eat the things that your body hates.
Heartburn pills and shit. Oh yeah,
some ridiculous pharmaceutical pills that you could take the pill so you can eat crap that your body is telling you do not put in me, dummy. And it's insanity. But this is why I sit back and I just laugh, because the modern plagues are caused by us. They're not caused by. I'd like the hashtag oligarchy, but the reality is we create a demand for really stupid products, and so somebody's always going to make that stupid product.
Exactly, specifically out of convenience for us. It's convenient. So the work is really what we're lazy. That's what there's this guy that traveled around for like all over the country, like, or just different countries, and then somebody asked him, "What is the one trait you all have in common that you found in mankind?" He's like, "Laziness." That's what it is. We like convenience. We like convenience, darling. We just do. That's just what it is. So that's why we don't care where our food comes from. We don't care about what puppy mills, even though we love animals. We don't care about it because it's convenient to have all those things. It's convenient. That's all there is to it. It's really that simple. So
It really is, and we're really judgmental. We're
yeah,
really judgmental. Like, we eat cows, but we're mad at China or anywhere else for eating dogs, right? And I'm not sure if it
right.
was China somewhere. Half the time you see these things, you know how true they are. But I know this: if I was starving, when this currency collapse comes and whatever happens, the robots, zombies, I have no idea. Great Depression, whenever that happens, and I ain't got no broccoli. And your dog is walking. You're not
You gotta
gonna like
survive.
me. You're
You
not
gotta
gonna
survive.
like me.
Yeah, insects, anything really, anything as long as I can eat it, as long as it's edible. Really, I don't know. Gold is edible. I mean, I'm just saying. I'm just throwing that out there.
Listen. Hey, we like to judge, but because once again, it's privilege, right? It's privilege in its culture too, though. But the weird thing is, it's not even our culture, right? Which is why I like to always get into colonization, because we broke people. We literally broke people. We detached them from the genetic foods they're supposed to eat, and now we're all feeding them things that they're not. And so your body's responding ways that it shouldn't, because you're eating things that you shouldn't. That was another thing Dr. Sebi talked about that he touched on, where he went to he was real sick. He had like diabetes and a bunch of other stuff. And he went to this Brazilian doctor and he was like, help me. Right. And then the Brazilian doctor said, I can't help you, African man. You need to go to Africa. Sound kind of racist, but he was right. He was like, you know what? My herbs here are for Brazilian people. Like, my herbs here are for people who were evolving on the bacteria on these plants. They were evolving on what's in this environment. Their bodies learning to adapt and thrive on these particular plants here. You need to go find somebody from wherever you came from, right? And so this is the thing about getting back in touch with your genetics in the food that you ate, right? If you came from Namibia, you came from Ireland, if you came from England, or I don't want to say that people do the genealogy test, because they use that to, who knows what they use that for.
Crazy.
Roughly, where you came from, and you were dragged here on the boat, you came here from poverty, or however you got here, you didn't bring your food with you, right? Your people 9 times out of 10 didn't eat pizza, hot dogs, and biscuits.
And all that is newspaper. You're just eating newspaper. That's all fast food is. It's newspaper. Right. So it's just gross nonsense. But that's the sad part, is that we'll never really see a documentary on Sebi, because everyone who tries to do it is killed.
No, yeah.
You know what the biggest you know what we figured that out was because of TLC. Remember the group, the R&B group TLC? Left Eye. Right. She tried to cover it. Nope. They won't let you do it. And then Nipsey Russell tried. Nope. They won't let you. That's all there is to it.
I'll learn our trouble. That's what happened. Because I think the first one who died from, you can call it Dr. Sebi-itis, like it's an illness where you get murdered. if you know Dr. Sebi, she was in a car accident somewhere in Latin America. You get murdered, and then the last guy was Nipsey Hussle. Then you got all the other naturopathic doctors. So it's not just Dr. Sebi. It's anybody who is. I like the way Nipsey Hussle put it. He said, anybody that's affecting the grind. If you are affecting the pharmaceutical grind, they will kill you. And to me, it makes sense. I grew up not too far from D.C., and people would kill you for a $50 clock radio. Kids would get in fights and go to prison and murder other kids for $120 shoes. At that time, it was like K-Swiss $70 shoes. But the point was that if we'll do that, do you think billionaires and trillionaires in $1 trillion industries are going to actually let you show some people how to grow a plant or how to take some sort of herbal solution to actually prevent you from taking their product? That's the dumbest thing I ever heard. Of course they'll murder you. They'll murder you, your family, everybody in the neighborhood.
Yeah, they don't care. They're going to protect their assets. Yeah, they will protect their assets from you. They will do that. They will do it. So
protect that.
We'll protect the shit out of it. They don't care. And this is what it is. We can't keep trying to appeal to people that we're actually fighting. That's the weird part. We need to have, we're going to ask people we're fighting for Medicare. No, you're fighting them. So you can't then ask them for things. That's not how that works. That's just not how that operates. I don't understand the value of why we're doing that. We keep appealing to people that we're fighting, like as if our outrage and anger is somehow going to change their mind. They're sociopaths. They don't care. They're not interested. They think it's funny that we have emotional reactions. They think it's funny. They don't understand why we're emotionally outraged. They like it. They take bets on it. They think it's really, really funny. So I don't know why we have to learn that slowly the hard way, that we can't outmaneuver sociopaths through staunch, outrage and social outrage. It just doesn't work. That's not how that works. So
Well, they've guarded all the gates. They got all the doors barred, right? They own these people. They own the politicians. You can go and cry in front of the politicians all you want. The politicians have jobs to do, right? They're not providing a service anymore. They have jobs, right? You have a Democrat Party and you got a Republican Party. They both want to stay in power. How do they do that? They take money is how you win elections. So what do they got to do? They got to take money from the corporations that are poisoning the hell out of you and your children to stay in office. And it's just a job. They get in office, they take the money as much as they can to beat out the competitor, to keep their party or keep their butt in a chair. And that's just how it works. And they got to be great actors. They got to look you in the face. They got to tell you how much they love you. They got to tell you, they got to kiss your little babies. We love you, little babies. But they got to take the money from the corporations that are poisoning. And what was the last thing I saw today? Something like all baby food testing.
Oh, yeah. 96 or so % of it is like is metal in it, like metal carcinogens and stuff. Yeah. Yeah.
They're not regulated. Yeah. They can't regulate. They literally have to make the money. And it gets into Federal Reserve and all that stuff. And we're supposed to be talking about food. But the thing is, and this is the problem, it's all related. It's all related.
It's all related.
100%.
That's why the politicians could never do anything. They were never in a position to do that. They're not distinctly different. They're only fighting over spoils. That's the only thing they're doing. They're essentially the same party, and that's all there is to it. That's why there's only two of them. That's why. How does that make sense if we're supposed to be all different and all? We're supposed to all, but we only have the two parties. Like, come on, that's false by definition. False. You have to know that it is. You have to know that, and they're funded by the people that they're supposed to be regulating. That doesn't make any sense. Right. That doesn't make any sense. Right. It's just silly. It's nonsensical.
Right, but it makes great sense. And this is why I said genius system. It is free. I have so much respect for Chesterfield Montgomery, and this is I have so much respect for it. Because here's the deal. If you're tired of getting smacked by the left, then you got to go to the right. And then they smack the hell out. You get tired of getting smacked by the left, you got to go to the right. And then you just keep like you can't win no matter what you do. Because they all take money from the same exact industry.
Yes, it's the appeal. It's the appeal to authority. And that's why Montgomery likes to mock people that keep coming to authority figures. He's like, you don't seem to realize we don't care, huh? You just don't get it? We can just lie right to your face and you'll sit there and go, ooh, but you look so pretty and you look so polished and nice. But yeah, dear, that's called a facade. That's not a thing. And they're just openly doing it to you. And you're just like, well, I like them anyway. Why are you doing that? Why are you doing it? Celebritism is a great. That's why I respect the cabal. People just hate them. I'm like, no, you shouldn't hate them. You should respect their work. They're very good at it. And they care. They care more than we do about distribution and allocation and waste disposal. They care. And so their waste disposals, let's put it in their water. Like, you know what I mean? Like they care about where that stuff goes. If we don't care about what happens with our resources, we can't then bitch about what happens to them. We're not taking responsibility for them. We won't take responsibility. So whose fault is that? Theirs? That's not their fault. It's our fault. So
if you create the demand, there will always be a supply. And it's like California right now. I was watching this thing this morning about California. And California, now they're finding PFAs in the water. I don't even know what the hell that is. I didn't even look into it. I don't have time for it. It's something that's going to kill you and your babies. That's all you need to know.
Yeah, that's all we need to know, really. It'll kill you. It's just going to kill you. It's all bad for you, folks.
That's it. If enough of it, it's going to kill you. So it's a bad idea that it's in there, but somebody got paid to put it in there, so it was in there. But now California, apparently the lords that got paid to put it in, they're going to track it. And I'm just like, okay, they're going to track it. They've been tracking. They're going to track some more. You either have healthy water, you don't. If you know they're poisoning your water and you're still voting for them, then you can't cry about poisoned water. That's the bottom line. Because the job is to poison the water even more. You either are going off grid, I don't know, you're going to wells to harvest your water, you're getting off the system. And that's the only way you change an oligarchical corporatocracy type system like this is you have to walk away from it. You have to stop giving a demand for what they're supplying. They're literally poisoning you and your children, and you're still cheering. You're still voting for it. This is why I sit back, Ty, and I just like, yeah, okay, let's
we just let it, because there's nothing we can do. There's nothing we can do about it. It's their individual problem. And that's why you said it, like, they can't vote anything away, because even if they were to vote for their water, your government doesn't control water. Nestle owns 90% of your aquifers, and you're still buying Nestle candy for Halloween. Yeah. So who are you mad at? Nestle doesn't care that Flint, Michigan is poisoned because they own the water aquifers. They don't care. So no matter what you vote for, it doesn't change the fact that they've owned it. They own the actual resource, which no one has challenged at all. They don't challenge Nestle. Why? Because they need Nestle's products. They want Nestle's products.
It's almost Halloween. We got to go buy some candy. It's almost Halloween. We got to go buy some Nestle.
You got to go buy from Nestle, which we will do. We will do that. While bitching about Flint, Michigan and everyone else's poison water, we will do both those things simultaneously. So,
and fracking is another good one. Look at that. Jeannie's talking about fracking. And that's just another good one. It's like all over the place. Everywhere you look, it's full spectrum dominance over your health and your immune system. Where does cancer coming from? Or do you put carcinogens on your skin? Do you eat cancerous food? Is your government putting cancer-causing agents in the water? Are they spraying it from airplanes? Like, these are all the critical questions for critical thought that you think that people would figure out by the time they were 7, but they don't. So I just sit back like the war on cancer. I drive past these people all the time. So I'm like, yeah, well, you don't. I pull up to the stop sign. Will you donate for the fight on cancer?
Like, you mean with my fiat currency? Sure, I'd love to do that. And one of my big things is also the biggest overlooked thing, especially in the so-called liberal sphere, is that we're worried about pollution. Oh, really? Is that why you're fine with disposable fashion, which is the biggest polluter? It's bigger than meat and everything else combined. But we're fine with disposable fashion. We're fine with buying 17,000 pairs of jeans and 18 kinds of shoes. We don't care about fashion at all, as if it doesn't point, as if there isn't landfills covering the United States full of this shit that we don't wear anymore. That's where that's where it's all going. That's where it's going. People think it's like disposed of. It's not disposed of. It's just sitting in a landfill, poisoning the water. The poison dyes in how our clothes are made. As you said, planned obsolescence. It's the worst with clothing. It is the absolute worst, and we do nothing about it. We don't address it in any way. They just say they're recycling, and less than 1% of it is actually recycled. That's the ridiculous. That's the ridiculous part.
They'll just come up with a new acronym for it. It'll be LSAs, and the LSA will be in the water. What is that? That's from your lingerie. It finally broke down and made it to the water supply, and you're drinking it in, and it's just we're out of control. We're out of control. But to me, and this is the thing. This is where we started and kind of went back full circle. If healthy is doing less stupid things that your immune system has to fight and taking in the things to help it fight. Whatever that is, you need to do a hell of a lot more of that, or you're going to be trapped in this pharmaceutical cycle. Like, the goal is to give you a medication, to give you another medication, to give you another medication, to give you a flu shot so you can buy some more medication, to give you another medication. And very soon, you'll never hear anybody talk about this on the internet again, because they're starting to filter and censor it all out. Even Google, what it was announced, they're going to get rid of like the sites that have anti-GMO. So it's just not vaccine. They will. It's full spectrum dominance, the domination, the matrix. And this is why I try to help people to think. I don't want anyone to think like I do. That's stupid. You want to think how I think, you need to go somewhere else, because you're not. You need to think about what is natural. Do the things that are natural. So when all this gets shut off, you know exactly what to do to become healthy.
Exactly. It's just really bad. That's the only thing to do. We don't need it. We don't need a revolution. We don't need to get violent. We don't need to appeal to these people. We need to change our own behavior. We need to change it. That's what it is. And that's harder. That's why people don't want to do it. It's harder, and it's long term. It's not a short term goal. Remember, they want that immediate satisfaction, that immediate convenience, and that's what's causing it, is that desire. So as long as we want to take our time and untrain ourselves from the conditioning, if we don't know how to think or learn how to change our own behavior, we're just going to keep getting duped. They'll just throw us to each extreme and then pit us against each other using anything. They think the cabal will use certain things, and we keep trying to tell them, no, they'll use everything. They don't care what it is, as long as it works. They don't care, and they'll keep using it. As long as it works, they'll keep using it. Doesn't matter how destructive it is or what it does to you or how you feel. They'll keep using it if it works. So now we have to change our own behavior. We have to retract from them. Sociopaths rely on consent. They don't just do stuff to you. They can't do anything to you without you consenting. They can't. They have no ability to do it. They need consent first. So if we don't give them consent, it's over. You can take the cabal down today. We can do it today if we wanted. We just keep consenting to them. All there is to it. So
that's why I ain't going nowhere. People ask, well, where they get in the streets? And I'm like, I ain't going in the streets. Look, where we going?
I ain't going in the streets. You ain't shooting me. We're black people. I'm not playing that game. I am not playing that game.
We're Where we going? Because I ain't going nowhere. We need to get our sign, get in the street. Because I know half the people going to show up with pumps and plastic clothes and GMO snacks. And
talking about privilege. Talk about privilege. Getting in the street is what privileged people do. Okay, that's what privileged people do. We don't have time to get in the street. That's why a lot of people don't even have time to be here complaining. I'm like, if you were actually doing the right work, you wouldn't have time for any of this. You'd be too busy growing your own food and making your own clothing. You don't have time to be here. There's no time for you to do this, guys.
Planting your garden, getting your seeds, saving your, like now it's getting cold. You need to be out there grabbing seeds, saving your seeds, getting ready for next year. Now, why am I go out in the
winterizing your house, being prepared for the snow.
Using less electricity, well, I would say knitting together blankets, but that ain't never gonna happen. Not in America. These people, oh no, they didn't shame knitting so bad. Only grandma does.
Well, and sewing in general, only 1 out of 10 people know how to sew, and I'm one of those people. Nobody knows how to make clothes. Nobody has any idea how the clothes are made at all. They have no idea. Couldn't tell you the first thing about it. Tell you the first thing. It's very hard. We have to start teaching people how to do that. We have to reteach them. We have to learn trades again. So.
Right. But people, they shame stuff like that, and we don't even have the ability. But that's the funny thing too, is like you have things like hemp, right? You have the ability to make sustainable clothing. We just don't do that, right? We choose not to do it, and we choose not to buy it. And what Trish mentioned earlier was minimalism. That's another thing. You want to be a minimalist, not just from a purchasing consumer perspective, but also from a food perspective, right? Because when you're coming into times where we're going to have a lot less food, when food prices will go up, when China's buying up all the land and not growing anything, when most farmers in America are growing GMO cotton, what is cotton, GMO corn, and GMO soy, but mostly corn and soy. They're not growing things for you to eat. They're growing things for big corporations to make processed food. And so if you're coming into bad times, another Great Depression, it might not be a great idea to be 400 pounds. I'm not shaming you. I'm
just throw that out there. Just throw it out there for consideration.
It takes a whole lot of energy to keep 400 pounds moving. You might want to minimalize everybody everywhere. But we never used to be this way. Gluttonous from all perspectives, from consumerism to food. Right. It's because we're so privileged. We are so lazy, privileged, and don't care. And we don't want to educate ourselves. And so we've got this great bad time that's coming, and very few people are preparing. That's why I believe in a zombie apocalypse. It's not zombies going for brains. They're coming for your beans. They're coming for your Big Macs. They're coming for your water. We're coming into a bad time. When the Great Depression happened, what was it? 80% of the country were farmers. Now, less than 3% are farmers. And most of them don't even know how to grow food without pesticides and chemicals and massive combines. We're in bad shape.
Hashtag fasting life. I'm just saying.
Eat less.
If fasting helps, it really does. It helps a lot. It'll clear out a lot of that garbage we're eating a lot of the time. I'm just saying. Just take times for it every once in a while. It helps. So, we're going to learn.
That's a good thing too. That was another thing Sebi did, right? The first part of him getting healthy was starving himself. Right? That was the first part, was him eating nothing. He ate nothing for like either 30 days or 60 days. I forgot which, where he just drinks. He drank, something like that. But he didn't eat, and so you go back, and this is where scripture is important too. Because then you go back to there's a scripture that says some things only come by prayer and fasting. I always wondered, why fasting? What's that? I'm an American. We're supposed to eat spam and scrapple. I go to church, they always got bake sales. What's this? I don't see nobody fasting. Everybody getting bigger and bigger and bigger. Nobody's getting smaller. Well, so you look at the studies on PubMed. You look at intermittent fasting, right? You see what happens when you fast. When you fast and you're not eating food, I'm sorry, Bofine's killing me. He just supposed to great drink. He just made me think about the Eddie Murphy. Dave Chappelle. Anyway. When you're fasting, like your body, it actually reharvests white blood cells. Yes. And so it's taking out the previous configuration of white blood cells so your body can make new ones, right? So when you eat again and your body's now creating white blood cells, it's creating the white blood cells based on the current problems you have. Your cardiovascular disease, your cancer, whatever it needs to break down and do. And so intermittent fasting in so many ways, based on various studies, is extremely healthy. So we definitely need to get back into minimalism. We got to go back to living within our means.
I'm a fan. I'm totally a fan of that. This is exactly why I wanted to talk about this, because I feel like a lot of my feed didn't really get that. You know, and a lot of mine are still kind of privileged people. They don't really get their privilege. They don't understand it. They're used to like talking about socioeconomic privilege, and we're talking about like the actual reality of being compartmentalized in the United States, not realizing outside of that perspective, outside of our propaganda that we're so indoctrinated with, how actual life systems work, like in the real world, you know, apart from the propaganda that we're so fed to. So that's why, and it took me a while to learn that too. It took me a while to realize that I needed to trust my own body rather than tell other people tell me what my body needs. My body tells me what it needs. It tells me when I'm thirsty. It tells me when I'm hungry. It tells me when I'm sick. It tells me immediately. It's like, hey, do this now. Like, you know? So we just need to start trusting our bodies more. That's really what it is.
And knowing how to listen to it, like knowing what the signs are. You know, like you're driving in new cars and the light comes on. You know what the hell is that for? Like the sign came on, you get your instruction manual. It's like a headache. You know, people think you have a headache because you had a bad day. You did not have a headache because you have a bad day. It might be part of it. You have a headache because you're lacking water. Your body is telling you it needs hydration. What happens is the nerves, when your brain shrinks because you have a lack of hydration, the nerves pull at your skull because your brain is attached to your skull. And it's that pressure of your shrinking brain that gives you that headache. That's where the pain comes from. Your body's literally saying, dummy, drink water. You're supposed to drink at least a gallon of water a day. But knowing that, and then like you said, looking at your urine, right? When you're peeing and it's not almost clear, you got a problem. Your body's
if it smells sweet, or if it smells or if it's frothy or anything. I mean, it tells you. It does tell you. And I notice a lot. See, Brad has that problem too. He gets headaches a lot. And I'm like, you know why? Because you know what you drink to cure that? Soda. That's why. Don't drink soda. Drink water. Soda just makes it worse. Soda just makes it worse. So that's Hunter. It's brother. I love him.
Oh my God, he's drinking soda for headaches. Oh wait, I see him again. You know what? We're not blasting people now. Okay, no, but you know what? Listen to your body. Listen to your body. It's important. Like Shaka just posted something. When do you eat? You don't eat when Big Mama says eat. You don't eat when everybody's coming over for the chicken bake. You know, at Grandmama's house. You eat when your body is hungry, and you eat till it's satisfied, not till it's full. And for me, some days that's like twice a day. Some days I'll eat once a day. Other days I'll eat 6 times in a day. Like listen to your body, that your second brain is in your gut, and your gut is telling you when to eat, and it's also telling you what to eat, which is another reason why to avoid processed food, because they have this a job called a food chemist, right? And the food chemist's main job is to go to something that's delicious, like a strawberry, something that your gut can get tricked into making you eat, and they'll take the compounds out the strawberry and they'll put it in a chocolate bar. They'll take it and they'll put it in a burger. They'll take it and put it in the processed cherry treat or something, cherry pie from the Entenmann's or something. You eat that and you get an endorphin response because your gut brain says, oh, this is the compound we need. This is what we need to, I don't know, cure this cancer in this part of the body. And so you eat more of it, and that's why it's delicious to you. And now you ate 3 of them, but your body's not actually getting the compounds it needs from the actual strawberry to solve the problem. And so you're getting sicker and sicker and sicker, but you're being tricked because you're eating processed food. And that's one of the most damning things about processed food is they use compounds from real food that you evolved, that your body thinks is eating dandelions, but you're not. You're eating a Snicker bar.
And of course, and one of the biggest ways to do that is, of course, we love flavors. We like how things taste. So a lot of good things that are good for us don't taste very good, but they're good for us. But that's the difference. It's all the processed stuff tastes great. It tastes fantastic, but it's like a Milner experiment. Like it's as you said, it's an endorphin thing. So we're like, oh, that tastes good. Let's eat more of it, even though it's poison, and we know actively that it is. We know it's poison, but we will eat it because it tastes good. That's the whole issue. That's the whole issue there.
That's why I drink a whole pitcher of smoothie. People, they say, well, why are you drinking right out the blender? Yeah, I drink right. I have a couple of these. I set them on the blender. I make because I got to drink the whole thing. When I tell people to drink smoothies, I'm not saying drink a cup of smoothie. I'm not saying drink 2 cups of smoothie. I'm not saying it's not, I'm saying drink the whole smoothie. Why? Because your body will get all the compounds it needs to do the things that it needs to. If you have a diverse population of different plants in there, your body will use what it can, it will take what it needs, and you will piss and poop out what it doesn't. But it's a guarantee that you get everything in. And so, yeah, I'm not make a smoothie and share it with I don't share smoothies. I don't do that. Sometimes I give my kids some. They can make their own. I ain't train them boys. They know how to make their own smoothie. I need to
make your smoothie. Make your own smoothie. I like that. Make your own smoothie. Make your smoothie.
We can share the donuts. We can share the apple pie. We can share all the stuff that's killing everybody. But when it comes to the thing, you need to think of yourself as Superman or Superwoman, right? Yeah, you should share. But the whole point is that, you want to make sure you get enough things for your bodies to solve the problems that it has. And we have no idea what the problems it has. And another example on that is being a marsupial, running around in the swamp, being little, can only eat the little plants on the ground as our bodies are forming. It didn't just eat one thing. It didn't just eat dandelions, right? It was eating dandelions and plantains, a little hemp, a little cannabis, whatever. And so you get a diverse amount of all those compounds. And if that little marsupial was having a problem with, I don't know, throw something out at the leukemia or something, it would know that, okay, I need the compound that's in the weed, that particular weed. And so that's how your body used to talk to you. And this is how you had this system, right, of your bacteria, your microbes communicating with your brain and giving you the endorphin responses, because it drives us, right? There was a time I used to eat for flavor, and I do love flavor. But then once I really started studying health, I eat less for flavor. I mean, I still like flavorful things, but I almost don't care about flavors. I can make a smoothie that will be brown and be mud and nobody will ever want to come near it. I'll drink the whole thing up, because something weird happens, Ty, when you start eating a lot of healthy stuff. When you stop eating, I think it's when you stop eating processed foods. When you stop letting the food chemists in these industries trick your body into eating bad stuff, it somehow reboots and it remembers what the good stuff is. And so now when I'm making the smoothie, it sounds like the craziest thing, but my mouth starts to salivate the same way it did when I was cooking steak.
Interesting.
Throw the big slab of, we used to eat country style spare ribs. I taught my boys how to eat all kind of stuff. And just while it's cooking, the fat's just grizzling and falling in the fire. My mouth is watering. I can taste it. I get the same feeling with the smoothie. And I think and I hate vegetables. I think it has a lot to do with just my gut brain telling me, ooh, I smell that. That's good. I see that. We need to eat that. And it's starting to prepare the saliva to get ready to eat.
Well, we also, it's not that we couldn't, because we have regular seasoning. Like, seasoning is still there. Like, it's still there. We just don't use it. People just need to learn how to use that on plants as well. We can use the same seasoning we use on meat on plants. There's organic seasoning. Like, we can use lemon pepper and all that. I love all that stuff. I love it. I'll use it on salads. I love all of it. It's fantastic. We just need to start caring about what we're using it on. We just need to, instead of like, let's put it on this processed burger. Like, don't eat the processed burger. Like, put it on a salad. And then you can eat the same. It'll taste just the same way. It's the same thing. So,
right. And that's a lot of times I found that the reason I like meat and I like steak was because I was putting plants on it.
Of course, that's exactly why. Yeah,
of all the herbs and everything I'm shaking on, it's good. And it's part of why Indian people are some of the healthiest people in the world. And somebody said, life started in Africa, and there's a debate now, because now it looks like it might be India. But anyway, outside of that, and I really don't care where life started, but they put a lot of seasoning on their food. They season the heck out of their sauces. They season the heck out of their foods. And, so you're getting those diverse compounds from all these different herbs and plants. And, herbs tend to be pretty small, which means we ate a lot of them, throughout our evolution. And so, you should season the heck out of your food. Don't just get a salad, doctor it up. It's not bad for you.
Yeah, and some of the biggest creatures are omnivores, or are herbivores. So like they ate tons and tons of plants all the time. Like we just spend all of their day eating plants. Because you need a lot of it. You'll need a lot of it, but it's worth it. It is worth it to have. So
there's a hint. Oh, you got to get going, don't you?
I gotta get going. Yeah, I got a show later. So, but I definitely wanted to come on and talk about this at least for a minute because I felt like that was needed. I felt like it really was needed. A lot of people don't get the basics of food and why we should care about what we're eating, and like we need to care about it. We need to care about that. So,
well, if you care, you will share, and if you care, you'll act on it, right? You'll change your behavior, and that's what we have to do. I mean, that's why I joke with healthcare. People are like, we need universal healthcare. I said, no. The first thing you need to do is stop backing a government poisoning you. We don't know how much the dis-ease in our environment is caused by plagues that they create because they don't regulate chemical companies and product manufacturers, and they take money from all these corporations. When they stop spraying pesticide on the food and poisons in the water and poisoning everything in the grocery store, allowing that to happen, then you can get a good idea of what healthcare should look like. But right now, you have no idea what healthcare should look like because they don't even know what health is. These idiots still think pizza's a vegetable. So
I know. It's like, it's just we gotta change our behavior, guys. That's the key here. That's the key. And that means in every aspect, including food. So hopefully we'll have another one. I'm gonna do this again at some point, but I'm glad we finally did it. I finally got you to do it. So
you finally
paying attention. I'm ready to do it. So.
You finally got time. So, all right, have a good show, everybody. Appreciate you guys joining in. We'll do it again because there's a lot to talk about. Have a great weekend. All right.
Bye, everybody. See you later.